Hey, what's up, YouTube? So today, some good things happened. We corrupted some brand cluster jewels, and look at here: one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, almost 10 bars of XP. Meaning we're halfway through level 98 finally. So not one, not two, but 10 bars of XP finally. I mean, that's just crazy to me. I mean, today was actually the first day of playing on stream that I have not died. I don't know if that's actually a good thing, but it really shows you that life's all about Penance Brand. If you're a Penance Brand, you're not going to die anymore. If you're a Penance Brand, you're going to have 4.6k ES. You're going to be unkillable. If you're a Penance Brand, you're not going to fail any more inscribed ultimatums. And if you're Penance Brand, you'll do more damage than you'll ever do. But enough about Penance Brand, but we still haven't swapped to the helmet yet. But Penance Brand has really opened my eyes, and I think it is the best overall skill for aura stackers currently, especially in today's gear choices and scenarios. It's always been a skill that scaled really well with cast speed, and what do you know, aura stackers just have a bunch of free cast speed from the Necromancer and our haste, which is super buffed by aura effect. So it turns out to be a perfect scenario, and having the ability to run all of these cluster jewels is also extremely good, because I'm pretty much a half penance, half brand stacker, and half aura stacker. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 aura clusters, and 1, 2, 3, 4 brand clusters. So we're a mix of both. We're a brand stacker and an aura stacker. So you build, right? So half man, half brand. But basically, let's get into the gear overview. Today, I'm going to go over a money-making method that you don't even really need to play the game. All you have to do is trade, and I don't know, and I might have some ulterior motives for introducing this method because it will help me out in trying to get RMR jewels, but I just wanted to illustrate the profit margin and why people actually will do it and do it, because it's actually pretty profitable if you don't mind trading. Then I'm going to show some clips today of a back-to-back Trialmaster, and I'm going to talk briefly about how to roll maps in bulk really fast. But back-to-back Trialmasters is pretty insane. A lot of people on stream complain about how they never even see the Trialmaster. They don't even know what the Trialmaster looks like, besides that annoying voice. But I actually found a Trialmaster in back-to-map maps, and I have the map watch to prove it. So anyhow, let's go straight into the gear overview and see what changes have occurred. Basically, all our gear is exactly the same. We have the same Nebulous, but look here. What is different about this? +2 AoE, +2 aura shavs. What happened to the old shavs? Well, it's for sale. So if anyone wants to pick up a cheap +4 shavs for the low price of around like 130x, actually I should probably raise my price. It's nighttime. It's my time to shine, right? Nighttime is when I might be able to sell my items, because such limited supply. So I hope I can sell it to some person, maybe even during the stream. But Arch Demon Crown is the same. This is the same. Rings are the same. Eventually I might try to get a double damage scepter with fire damage to spells, so I can get an extra gem slot from this Call of the Brotherhood. And then we have the same pair of boots. I actually don't need this mana regen enchant, so I might actually run lab again. Can you imagine that? Back in the lab once again. I will probably do lab since I don't need the mana regen enchant. That's actually quite sad. I did not know I would actually need to step foot in the lab again, but what can you do? And we still have these Hands of the High Templar and Asenath's Gentle Touch. I actually swapped this pair of gloves out for mapping, and I bought this today, +1, +2 for 22x, I think. So basically, this allows us to reach like pretty high ES with the setup, so 4.4k, which I'm pretty comfortable with doing most content on. Now, the important thing about this is instead of +2 AoE, +2 duration, it is +2 AoE and +1 gems, which means that +2 +1 affects brand recall. So you can see our brand recall is level 11. So maybe this means that we can just spam brand recall, because the cooldown is pretty short, right? So regularly brand recall cooldown is 4 seconds, but in this it's actually pretty fast. So it's actually 2.22 seconds. So 80% increased cooldown recovery speed. I don't think you actually get it to 0 second cooldown, because that would just be broken. But basically, this +2/+1 increased our smite DPS and it gives us a survivability boost from discipline. Technically, I don't need to use Vaal discipline anymore if I had this because it wouldn't benefit over a level 21 discipline. But I like to swap in the Hands of the High Templar for bossing, and it does benefit from +2 duration. And here's my gem swap for bossing. I use Flame Dash for Awakener, and sometimes swapping the gem and gear around is all you need for bosses. That's how I did the Awakener Deathless. So it's pretty chill. And overall, well, how about the cluster jewels? So some big things happened today. So eventually I want to swap to the brand helmet, like I've told everyone here. So I need to make up 7 RMR on the helmet, right? So right here we have 1 RMR I finally got today. I bought this for 3 exalts. And then I was buying these jewels all day to corrupt them, and I got 1 pen version of Brand Loyalty Remarkable. And then I have got 2 RMR corruptions, or RSR. I don't really know what to call them anymore because it's actually annoying. Why is it RRS or RSR? RMR sounded so much better, but maybe that's just a familiarity thing. But basically, I got 2. I corrupted probably like 60 plus of them, so I kind of got lucky. And this allows us, so we made up 1 RMR here, 2, 3 total, right? So 3 total RMRs made up, and then we can get another one right here with Intuitive Leap. So that'd be 4. So now we're short 3 RMR. Now, if we move the auras to the chest and use level 4 Enlighten, that would probably be equal to like 2 or 3 RMR. So that's all we really need. So in order to be safe, we will just get 1 more RMR on the brand loyalty, which would give us 4 total on our brand cluster jewels. Then 1 on Intuitive Leap, and that should be enough to swap to the helm. So we're actually very, very close to swapping to the helm, and you can see that it's just a matter of getting RMR on the brand cluster jewels. And if you really wanted to play it safe, you could get 1 more on one of these purposeful first among or purposeful replenishing, but it's pretty expensive because most of the ones on the market are first among and replenishing, and that makes it, but we can't use that because we actually don't use that. We use purposeful and first among for 2 of them, and then we run 3 heralds for 40%. And then we also run, I mean, technically we actually drop a herald and not run that many, because that would make it easier if we dropped a herald and ran another purposeful on this, but that would make us lose ES and chaos res, and right now most of our chaos res is actually coming from these clusters, so that wouldn't be ideal at the moment. But basically right now, since we're still in the transition period, what this means is that we don't need actually all of the RMR. So right now I'm dropping the RMR on my jewels and getting these jewels, which is percent and double multi, ES percent double multi, and then I have another one here with ES percent and double multi, or this one's multi Caspian Strength since I needed it. Then I think I have 1 more here somewhere. Yeah, right here is another ES and double multi. So that's how I have more ES now than before. And later on when I swap over, my ES will probably drop because I'll actually need the RMR jewels that won't be double multi with ES, as those are just impossible to get at the moment, as those would run like 50 exalts each. But it does show you that getting RMR clusters and then getting like perfect jewels that aren't corrupted is a cheaper option than trying to go for non-RMR clusters and corrupted double multi ES jewels, which would probably run you like 70-80 exalts or more. But basically, we do have the path to using the helmet, and it is to get another cluster on brand with RSR and to get Intuitive Leap RSR, and that will bring us to 5 total, which will be enough with the chest and Enlighten. So the important thing about this chest, right, when you want to swap to the helmet, is your purities will go in here, so they'll actually be like 23-ish, and I maybe will put Arrogance in here. Now Arrogance in here is pretty important because it would actually allow us to run another aura on our life easier, and that'd be pretty nice. Maybe some precision action with Arrogance or Vitality for some more regen. So I'm kind of looking forward to being able to swap out the chest piece or be able to run extra links on the chest piece for the auras, but we'll see what we choose. I think I should have maybe have gotten a +1 +2, because if I ever use enhanced, then it would be better than this, but it should be fine for now. But this means that getting Divergent Period of Ice with Enhance and Enlighten would be insane. And maybe that would be the solution. But basically, we got a lot closer today to getting to be able to use the Penance Brand helmet, and it's purely we just need to corrupt more of these clusters. Now I wanted to talk more about corrupting clusters because it's actually a pretty good profit margin, and I don't want one person to have all the fun, right? So let me get into that. So now I'm going to go into why, if you want to find a way to make money and you don't really care if you're like playing the game or trading, this is actually a top tier way of making money, and it's actually kind of fun because it's kind of RNG. But if you hate trading, this is not going to be it for you. But I'm mainly saying this because I kind of want there to be more RMR clusters up, and this is one way of doing it. So basically you buy these clusters, right? And then you corrupt them to try to get, what's it called? Reduced skill reservation. Now, if you look here for the clusters, so you can kind of see, so Craft of Exile is a very good site for this. Or in fact, you can see what you could actually get for cluster crafting. Wait, it actually doesn't show you right here. But let's see, is there actually a way to see? Oh wait, you can just look at it on jewels. I'm actually not sure why they don't show it for the corruptions and what you could possibly get. But here you can see all of the Vaal implicit wage, right? So you can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 total outcomes for the implicits. So you can either get AoE, damage. So this is the main one we're looking for. Reduced mana reserve. Corrupted Blood will go for a little bit more. Cold Pen will go for a little bit more. So when you corrupt a jewel, you have a certain amount of things that can happen, right? So it's a 1 of 4 different things happen, I think. So the jewel you can get the corruption, and I think it can stay the same, and then the other thing is it can change and break into something completely different. So I think 50% of the time it stays the same, and I think 25% of the time it changes for the worse, or it changes completely, and 25% of the times you hit it implicit. So since there's 15 different outcomes and it's a 1 in 4 chance to get Vaal implicit, that means it's a 1 in 60 chance to get our reduced mana reserve while you corrupt the jewel. So that means, if you can see, like the prices of this is the Aura Stacker jewel that most people use, which is first among the replenishing. So that means if you buy this jewel at like 0.9x or 1 exalt, let's say like most of these are 1 exalt. So 1 out of 60, you'll sell it for 60x. So you have 60 exalts that you spend, and then you'll get 1 RMR jewel. And you can see 1 RMR jewel goes for like 50 to 60x, depending on what's the secondary stats on them. You can see this person here is actually corrupting it in mass for profit. Now you might ask, oh, but this is only like 60 exalts. What happens to all of the other jewels? So at this point, you can sell all of the bricks, right? So all of the bricks, you can sell it for around like 1 exalt too, maybe like 100 chaos or so. So that means out of 60 of them, 30 of them will not change. 15 of them on average will get a Vaal implicit, and 15 of them will brick. So you will have, so let's just say you make 30 exalts back, and then you make 60 exalts from selling the RMR one. So you make 90 exalts back on your 60 exalt investment. And that's like best case scenario. So maybe you say you don't actually sell all of the ones. So you wanted to get rid of them really cheap. So you sell it for like 2/3 price of 2/3 of an exalt. So that means you would make 20 exalts from doing this. So that's like pretty okay money if you just wanted to like corrupt them for fun. And a lot of people also like corrupting stuff at the end of the league because they have nothing better to do. But if you want to get the jewel for cheap, it is in your interest, if you want to save the maximum amount of money, to corrupting yourselves and buy it. Because that's pretty much what these people are doing that sell it to you. They're literally just mass buying them and then corrupting it and then selling off the bricks, or the ones that don't change at all. So in the end, you'll probably save around like 20 to 30x per jewel you buy. Now, you can use this either of two ways. You can either buy the jewels in mass to make money if you don't need to use it, or if you're going to use it, this is actually the cheaper way than just buying one of these. There is the opportunity cost of how much time you spend trading, but you're gaining in the end like 20 to 30 exalts on average, so it's pretty big. So I am only really mentioning this because I need this jewel right now, Brand Loyalty and Remarkable, to be corrupted for reduced reservation of skills. Now there's someone who, like, I don't know if he watches the videos or if he just knows that I wanted, but he has it up for 50x, so he's been corrupting them. So like the jewel that I currently want right now is only like 30 to 40 chaos, right? 30 to 45. So this thing has a huge margin. So on average, you only take 15 to 20 exalts to get or less. And if someone's trying to charge that much of a markup, if you come sell it to me, I'll buy it straight up for 20 exalts. So you can make some profit margin there. And you can see how easy the bricks are to sell. Like there's so many people who want it. This is like the world is my oyster at this point. Like everyone wants a piece of this jewel. So just something to keep in mind for making money and how exactly like you get RMR clusters. Because a lot of people see that RMR clusters and see it as this unobtainable goal. But if you like trading and you don't mind it, it's actually not as bad as you may expect. And the actual cost of the RMR cluster is almost break even after you sell off the bricks. But let me get into the next part, or not break even, but it's a fraction of the cost of what it is. But let me get into like maybe a starting point of this build and how you can adopt this build for a more beginning setup. Because I know a lot of people want to play Penance Brand, but they aren't too sure about how to swap when they're not able to at a lower budget level. So a lot of people ask me like, how can I do this build? Because a lot of people think, oh, you can only do this build because you have this insane glorious vanity, right? But the fact of the matter is, all you have to do is, you see I'm running 3 brand loyalty and remarkables and 1 brand loyalty holy conquest. So that means all you have to do, so say I drop one of these, 2 of these clusters, right? So let's just say for all intensive purposes, 2 of these clusters are gone. Which might be a little annoying because I have RMR on them, but still, it should be okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, wait, so I can still cast a brand, right? So I took out 2 of my brand clusters, so you can just assume these are FAE RP, which is just the first amount replenishing, which should have 15 plus 15 and 30% aura effect. So if you have 30% aura effect extra, that means that this jewel here, it only needs to be like a tiny glorious vanity. You can get it one with 18% for 7 points, or like a couple points. So you only need that extra bit of aura effect. Since this one is 48% for 7 points, so if you gain 2 clusters worth of medium clusters, that's 6 plus 6 plus 3, which is 15%. So you gain 30% aura effect. So that means your glorious vanity will only need to have like a 20% for 4 points or so, and you would have enough, right? So let's just see how exactly the map clear looks when it's with only like 2 brand clusters, because it should be more than enough, right? So let's go check it out. So I'm going to play this. Let's hope I don't die actually showing this off. But we can see we still have 90% res. And this is with like 8 spare points remaining, which would go into the medium cluster. Because I do think this is actually the better budget option for most people. Because you don't need to run Malevolence Aura, which is a huge deal. Not having to run Malevolence Aura means that this puts the skill on like, what's it called? Oh shit, I don't have enough mana. Wait, did I put in a no regen map? Whoops. Wait, is this map actually no regen? But let's see. Oh, I don't know what happened. Why couldn't I play? Weird. Why don't I regen mana? What the fuck? Yeah, but you can see it's kind of weird. Why don't I regen mana? Oh, I'm so confused, but let's put in a different map. Maybe the map is bugged or something. I don't really know what happened. It's actually weird. How when I throw this out, I don't have mana regen? I'm actually so confused. Anyhow, let me just take out the smoke mine. Oh, because I don't have mana to detonate it until I... Okay, that makes sense now. Okay, anyhow, let's not use smoke mine. So you can see the clear with... That's actually something to keep in mind. The clear with just having 1 or 2 brand clusters is pretty good. It's like nearly the same in my opinion. Or not, it's not the same, but it's still extremely good. And this is with like pretty budget setup, right? Well, not budget setup, but this is for like someone who's like wondering, do I really need to have all those clusters? And the answer is you actually do not need to have all of them. So this is with someone who only uses 2 brand clusters, and yeah, the other cluster is just quality of life. Yeah, the clear is going to be a lot better, but you can see the clear is more than serviceable enough without the, what's it called, without having 4 brand clusters. And the single target is still pretty good, right? So this is basically a test case scenario of only having 2 brand clusters, and this would just be a first amount and replenishing. So that makes the build a lot more affordable because you don't need to worry about having a 7556 jewel. So you can use a glorious vanity with like 20% for 4 points and it would be enough, right? So that should help out a lot. And all these extra points could honestly probably go into like ES to fill it out and to help out. Or you can even get a jewel socket to get extra reduced skill reservation. So overall, very good budget option. I'm gonna make a budget guide in the coming days for exactly how to set this character up and the POB, because right now you can pretty much just take out the first among. You can take out 2 brand clusters, replace it with first among, and you have enough 300% aura effect that you'll be able to play the build, and it should be still perfectly fine. So let's just say I had these nodes, and then I think I could actually have smoke mine again. Yeah, so you pretty much just need a detonate smoke mine in order to regen your mana. Huh, I did not know that, but I'm not really sure what happened there, but that was kind of interesting. But like I say, this build is a lot better for budget option than like Spark because you don't need Malevolence. The only difference is that you might need all your levels, so you should probably try to get to level 95 as high as possible, as this version does take extra points with Runebinder and trying to get this node here. But overall, build is extremely good for both the high ceiling and the high end and the budget version, I think. And you actually gain a gem socket because you don't need to actually use brand recall. And you don't need to run Malevolence. So not only do you gain a gem socket, you don't need to run 1 aura. And you don't even need to run 3 heralds. You can run 2 heralds and be fine with it. So you can even gain more mana back that way. And there's really nothing really that special. And you also can get one day get a your shafts plus 2 AoE, so that should be relatively more affordable too. But anyhow, Penance Brand is the best overall skill, I think, and especially on the budget end, I think it could be an eye opener. And you should definitely try to give it a try. Like a lot of times, like I recommend EK as the budget option, because EK has good damage. And why does EK have good damage? Because it's a Fizz skill, which means it benefits, it double dips on the Hatred scaling. Because if you read Hatred right here, it says you and nearby allies deal 19% more cold damage, and you and nearby allies gain 26% of Fizz as extra cold. So since it's a Fizz skill, it double dips on that. And also there's a Herald of Purity, which grants you 13% more physical damage. So it's just 2 extra more multipliers on a regular skill, a cold skill or lightning skill. So that's why Fizz skills and Penance Brand may be an option for people who just want to do an entry-level aura stacker with basic gear. I might try to equip an aura stacker in the build guide with basic gear just to show you how it functions, because I truly believe that Penance Brand can solve the issue, because a lot of people, when they have the character, they do complain about survivability and bossing. And for survivability and bossing, a lot of times it just comes down to being able to move around. And when you play Spark or EK where you have to stand still and hold down your cast, being able to move around with Penance Brand is a huge quality of life and also survivability tool. I mean, it's not a coincidence why I'm at 48% XP after being stuck at 0% for so long on the other skills. But now I'm going to play some short clips of back-to-back Trialmasters, and just for you to see how exactly Trialmaster functions with Penance Brand with a pretty finished setup. I think it was actually the first time I actually got multiple exalts from a Trialmaster. Still trying to get the Hate Forge gloves. It's actually just absurd how much Hate Forge gloves are currently, but it is what it is. Most of the Hate Forge price is because of the ring that's bugged currently, so don't try investing into it, because I think the prices might drop after the ring gets hotfixed. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed these clips today pretty much. Whoa, 6-link.
Stray too far and find pain.
Nice. Is this the Trialmaster? Am I gonna finally get my Oh, this might be it. I'm gonna get my Hate. I'm gonna get my Hate Forge gloves. Nice. Oh shit! I got. What the fuck is that bullshit?
My service is finally over.
Hate Forge time, nice.
And my service continues.
What happened to the Trialmaster?
Laughs mortal, and fortune is yours.
What? Where's the Trialmaster loot? Huh? Hope everyone enjoy all the clips, and I just wanted to break down the cost. Oh yeah, the Trialmaster is a complete joke on this build. I don't think it could have gone any faster. But this is the input. I wrote it out. So input, you buy 60 of these jewels. Output, you get 30 unchanged, and then if you sell it really cheap, these will instantly sell pretty much at 0.67 exalts. So you get 20 exalts back from that. Then you get 15 bricked, which would give you 0 exalts because they all bricked. You get 1 reduced skill reservation, which you sell at 60 exalts, and then you have 14 with random implicits that aren't bricked either. So this will probably give you like 10 exalts. I think like CB might go for a little bit more, but on average, probably if you sell it cheap, around 10 exalts. And this is like some pretty conservative selling, like some really cheap prices. In total, you get 90 exalts out of this. So this is a 30 exalt profit total for input of equals 60 exalts, which is pretty good. I mean, it's not the best in the world, but you could probably get, and it's a lot of trading, but if you don't really want to like map or anything, you like trading and interacting with people, by all means do this. But you can also see like, if you want to get the RMR jewels cheap and you want to do it yourself, it would cost you around 30x after you sell off all of the bricks. And who knows, you might get lucky, but you could also get unlucky too at the same time. Another thing of note for Penance Brand versus Spark is the fact that your boots don't need to have pierce, which means you don't need to worry about pierce anywhere. So that means you get a free prefix here. And for the budget option, it also means you can wear Doriani's Delusion early on, and that also saves you a gem socket. So there's a lot of benefits to the Penance Brand build, and I do think that it is the skill of choice for budget builds. So you pretty much would just be using a Nebulous, Alpha's Howl, Malagaros probably in the beginning, and then 2 Call of the Brotherhoods, RSR Amulet. Then you use like Beta Breath, or at this point Beta Breath is probably so cheap, so you probably just use any like Stygian or Darkness and Throne for double RMR. Then you use like Doriani's Delusion boots with +2 or something maybe with the Purity, so you'll save a skill point there, and then you'll just have so much stuff to work with overall. Then you get some like First Among replenishings in these jewels, and then these brand loyalty jewels. These are literally like 40, 25, 30 chaos each. I'm selling actually a huge bulk of them right here. So these jewels are super cheap. So the more people that corrupt them, the cheaper our builds will become. So everything is relatively cheap, and then you don't need to even worry about getting reduced skill reservation on this one or this one. So overall, really good setup, I think, and it solves the single target issue for beginner ore stackers. And I'll make a complete guide with the POB in the coming days so that you guys can try it out. But anyhow, I'm really glad I discovered this skill, and I'm pretty looking forward to putting on the helmet, as I think my damage will more than double. But if you like the content, be sure to like and subscribe. I stream every day, and I do POB reviews and item price checks and whatever. But I hope you find more Mirror and Exalts and Headhunters than I do, and I'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.